Hello and welcome. So, if you're new to this channel, I'm Andrea. I'm an influencer marketing professional with almost 10 years of experience. And today I will be walking you through how to create an influencer marketing strategy, even if you don't have a lot of experience creating strategies. I'm going to try to break it down for you in a simple manner so you can understand how to do it for yourself as well. So, let's get right into it. Now, I do have a previous video that I recommend you watch if you're just starting out with influencer marketing or you simply just want to find a better way or a better flow, a better structure of approaching influencer marketing. I will link it down below because I do not remember what name I gave it. I'm new at YouTube. I'm sorry. But I will link it down below because that's where I actually talk about in how to start with influencer marketing. I talk about how important the strategy part is, and that's where I talk about like the freebie that I've linked and how to use it to actually set up your influencer marketing from scratch. So let's get into how I do the strategy. The first thing I recommend you doing is do your customer research. So do really understand what drives your customers, really understand why do they buy your product, why is it that, what drives you to your brand, kind of understand the reasoning behind them purchasing your products or your services. I'm not going to insist on that. Maybe I'll do another video on that if you're interested in, but that is crucial. Do not go into influencer marketing without having that knowledge and having that information. And that's kind of a good practice for business and marketing in general. Just you need to know who you're advertising to. That's kind of crucial. That's kind of the point of your business, to know exactly who you're selling to and at what point is that person in their journey and how you're helping them with, how's your product helping them, how is it changing their lives, what is the impact and all that. So the simplest way you can actually get to the bottom of that is just hop on calls with your customers. Have someone from your marketing department, or if you have like a customer care specialist, create a form, have them talk to people and take notes and see exactly what your customer thinks. Have them take some notes or record the calls or just do whatever you need to do to kind of get that information. Of course, data you extract and data you already have from your ads, from whatever has worked in the past, from your social media and stuff like that, that's also valuable. But the most valuable thing is to understand your clients on an emotional level. Now, let's get into the strategy. This is the sheet that I use to create strategies all the time. I love this template because it's simple, it's straightforward, anyone can understand it. You can share it across channels and departments. For example, if you're a marketer that works in a company and you want other people to understand what you're doing and how you're doing it, you can share this. It's very easy to follow and very easy to understand. So what I always start with is the goals. Now, I know I've said it before, there's a lot of ways to go if you want to choose a goal. You can choose by intent, you can kind of fragment the goals into like little bubbles and whatever. I don't do that. So I like simplification and even oversimplification, because influencer marketing, as nice and cozy as it sounds, it's actually extremely complex. So when I show people what I do and what's behind the scenes, everyone goes like, wow. I have never imagined the level of complexity this channel actually has, and it's mind-blowing to actually see it. So I always go by 3 goals. I'm gonna start with awareness. So awareness, as it says in here, it's about increasing the visibility of your brand, getting more eyeballs on your product services, amplifying your message across new untapped audiences and markets. So what that means is that I want to get my ideal audience, ideally, to consider my product, to look at become aware of the fact that not only they have a pain, but I have a solution for them, right? That's kind of, it's, if you're familiar with the stages of awareness is again top of the funnel. That's where I would put it in there, right? Now, I've also put down some KPIs. These are just very, very, very general KPIs. So again, depending on your business model, depending on what you sell, these might change, but this is what I go for: impressions, views, anything that relates to kind of how far and wide that content is reaching, but also, is it hitting my ideal audience? That's also very important, right? We don't want to advertise to just everyone. We want to, as much as possible, reach the people that are our ideal customers. With conversion, it's all about the sales, right? It's very self-explanatory. However, what I like to include is I also like to include leads and lead generation and qualified traffic into conversion. I'm going to explain why. The way I look at this is that if an influencer drives a lot of traffic to the website and the traffic is quality traffic, but it doesn't convert, then I can retarget that traffic and convert people through other channels. There's also this situation where influencers drive a lot of traffic and you have good capture. Your website is very good at capturing leads, so you put them, a lot of people sign up for an email, or you have some sort of welcome offer that helps them, gets them to sign up, and then you can later on convert them in your email marketing. Now, conversion is tricky. And I know a lot of brands, they want to go straight for conversion. We want to get sales out of influencers. We want them to sell. We want to, and they look only at sales and not at, if you're just starting out with influencer marketing, I would not choose conversion as a main goal. Especially for newer brands, it is very hard to start just by getting like a huge wave of conversions and huge wave of sales. It is possible, you will get some, but awareness will give you a much higher traction starting out than conversion. It can be done, but I wouldn't recommend it because you would have to work for it a lot. Also, with conversion, keep in mind that it's 50-50 when it comes to influencer marketing. So just like with ads, you can optimize an ad as much as you want. You can just put all the bells and whistles and get Kim Kardashian to endorse you. If your website is not very good, or if your offer is just not very compelling, then the conversion rate will be relative to that. So you can have, a super on brand influencer, they're super excited about their product, they're posting about it, people are coming to your website in droves, but you're not really seeing conversion, you're not really seeing a lot of conversion. Like, what the hell, what's happening? It is probably because of your website. And I've seen this happen, and this is why it's very, very important to go through that. Now, for branding is a little bit of a, like I said here, it's the buffer between awareness and conversion, and it is in a way. Branding is all about building communities, and I've mentioned this in my previous video. It's about engaging and nurturing a relatively new community or an existing community. It's kind of sediment the brand presence, and oftentimes you'll see campaigns that have a very inspirational or aspirational aspect to them. I think the Coca-Cola campaigns are the most kind of known, right? Coca-Cola they have like a certain degree of monopoly. They don't need to spend that much money. I mean, if they want to drive awareness or achieve conversion in new markets, they would have to spend a shit ton of money. So they're not doing that anymore. They have a huge user base, and they're mainly focusing on sedimenting that and constantly engaging that. So this is a little bit of a more of a high level. Small to mid brands can also do it to some degree, but most of the time awareness and conversion are two of the main goals that they go for. So now we're going into the strategy side, and I wanted to do like two examples. They're not extremely different, they're just slightly different. I tweaked a few things just to kind of give you a walkthrough of how I approach this process. So first, obviously, I want to choose some main initiatives. Now, you can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose 3, you can choose 10. I wouldn't recommend choosing 10. Quite frankly, the maximum number of initiatives I would go for, that's if you're really ambitious, would be 3. So try to, be moderate about it, right? Don't go for too many initiatives. Don't go for like very spliced things, very unrelated things, because that's going to take your strategy all over the place. So try to keep it focused and concise. So what I want here is I actually have 2 initiatives, and I have different goals for them. So as you can see, what I want you to notice is that they kind of complement each other. So the first initiative falls very much under an awareness goal, right? I want to generate 100 million views on TikTok. The next one falls under conversion. So I want to generate direct traffic. I want to generate 25% of the total traffic through influencers. When you're choosing your initiatives are kind of like main actions that you want to achieve through your marketing that are going to help or support your business goals. Never go for something that doesn't support your business goals. If your main business goals are to grow in a specific direction or achieve some sort of specific growth, then you have to choose goals in influence marketing that support that, right? So for example, if one of my business goals would have been to very aggressively scale and sell units, then I would have chosen maybe both of the initiatives would have been conversion, sales, right? But right now I'm thinking about from the perspective of a rather maybe like a newer brand that is trying to also, increase awareness on their product and services. So not a lot of people know them. They're small, they're just starting out, but they want to really kind of scale aggressively through video content and then also generate traffic, right? I want to generate traffic. I'm not going for sales. Again, I'm not going very aggressively in the sales direction, but I want to generate traffic. I want to generate traffic because maybe I want to retarget that traffic. I want to capture leads. I want to grow my email list. I want to kind of make it a more holistic approach. So as you can see, I write down the goal of initiative. Again, be specific about it. So don't just say, I want to generate a lot of views, generate video views, but generate views from videos. I've seen this before. So I want to generate 100 million views on TikTok. You can even be even more specific if you want to. So generate 100 million views on TikTok from, I don't know, get ready with me videos about my brand. I'm just giving an example here. So it can be anything, but you can get as specific. The more specific you get, the more is going to help you take it down all the way to the task. So in performance management, this is called cascading objectives to individual level. It's probably the only thing I remember from performance management. The only thing I remember from Peter Drucker's book. It is very useful because technically what it does, it takes that high level goal that you're setting up for them, for your company and your teams respectively, and it's breaking it down into like little manageable pieces that don't look as scary. Because if you go to someone and say, hey, we need to generate 100 million views on TikTok. If I go to someone in my team and tell them that, they're gonna freak out. I'm like, what? I don't even, how many zeros are there in 100 million? I'm confused. It's gonna be really bad, right? But if I go to them and I said, okay, we need to produce, if you look at the bottom of the list, we need to produce 500 TikToks. They're gonna be like, okay, and it's still hefty, but at least that I know how to do, right? Okay, so on the right, you'll see like kind of the flow, on the left, I'm sorry, you'll see kind of the flow. And then again, I'm defining my metrics, so I want to know how I'm going to measure this, and I'm also defining milestones. And I know a lot of people probably don't do this, but I love doing this because milestones are kind of like flagpoles that keep me on track. So milestones are a very, very good way of kind of measuring if you're underreaching or overreaching within your strategy. So I'm going to give you an example. So as you can see, they have to be measurable, they have to be realistic, they have to be timely. So kind of think about in a marathon where you have checkpoints. I want to be able to reach those checkpoints in a specific period of time, right? So I want to generate 10 million views by the end of Q1, right? Now, if I start my influencer marketing and by the end of Q1 I see, oh man, I've barely generated 1 million views, then I know for a fact that I'm very, very much overreaching with my strategy. I don't have the resources, I don't have maybe the expertise, the budget to pull that off. So what it means is by the end of Q1, I go back. You don't necessarily have to scrape that goal and say, oh, we'll never get enough views on TikTok. No. No, you just go back and you say, okay, 100 million. It's pretty hefty. It's a lot. So how about, I achieved 1 million by the end of Q1, and in order to achieve this 1 million, I have produced this many TikToks. So let's say I would want to generate 10 million instead of 100 million. How would that look? What would I need to do to get to that, right? So I'm tweaking my strategy so I understand, oh, okay, this is what it would take. And you don't necessarily have to go into the execution side to actually do that. You can do it as you work your way down. Because, for example, I would have generated 2,000 pieces of content by the end of Q3. Again, hefty goal, right? I would need a team, I would need budget, I'm gonna be like, okay. So I go down and I'm like, okay, if I want to generate 2,000 pieces of content, I'm going by pieces of content and not necessarily how many creators post. So let's say creators can post multiple pieces of content for me. Maybe I'll need like 1,000 people, right? To get 1,000 people, I would need at least on TikTok, maybe 5, 6, all the way up to 10. Really depends on the industry. That's why I'm not giving you like a number, but a lot. So that's why I put down, okay, I need to build a TikTok database of 5,000 niche creators. Now again, when I got to that number, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I can do that. I can maybe find 100 people to work with me. I can maybe pay 100 people to work with me, or I have 2K of budget each month. I don't think that's gonna it's gonna work out. Or I simply cannot send that much product out. I cannot give that much of my services. I can't give 500 units of my product out in order for people to produce content because it's gonna cost me a lot. I go back at the top and I tweak. I'm like, okay, let's tweak this. Let's make it a little bit more manageable. So this is why if you look on the left side, I have this kind of breakdown, right? So the projects are the main kind of supportive pillars of my initiative, right? So the projects, the way I view this is that the projects are kind of the pillars that support my goal, the goal of the initiative, right? So if I want to generate 100 million views on TikTok, I'm breaking it down into, okay, in order to do that, I need to build a TikTok database of this many creators. I need to create long-term agreement templates so I can make sure that the people I get to work with me are going to work with me on a regular basis so I can generate those views. And then I need to produce this many TikToks. And then those, it's kind of like a pyramid, right? And then those also kind of get broken down into like tasks and help support that like tip of the pyramid and that top initiative. So with the initiative 2, it goes the exact same way. It's just that the goal that it falls under, like the type of goal that it falls under, is it's more on the conversion side, right? Because I'm talking about traffic. I want to generate traffic. So this is a very good way of going about your influencer marketing channel. So if the main reason why I do this is, if I can generate 25% of the total traffic through influencers, means that I'm measuring that through URLs that I'm giving to influencers, right? So those links that you see in everyone's description, including mine, those are URLs that the brand gives that they track. So I'm tracking that traffic, and I take this base 25% to be just the traffic that I can directly attribute to influencers. Most likely, the traffic that's coming through influencers is going to be a lot higher, right? It's going to be at least another 10% on top of this, what's coming into direct and organic traffic, which means that, again, when someone goes online, they see something from an influencer, they might not click on the link that the influencer is putting in their story or whatever type of content, but they may simply go into a browser, open a new tab, and look up the name of the brand and say, okay, what is this about? Yeah, let me check that, right? So that's traffic that goes to the website again, but I cannot track the origin of that traffic, right? So I'm trying to get like a baseline of traffic that I can track so I can measure performance. Basically, that's it. As you can see, under each initiative, I put things to support it. Very important. These are just examples. So you need to get into it and do it for your brand and do whatever would work for your brand. You will have to take that into consideration and adjust the strategy to work for you. Right. So for example, Spark ads would be out of the question for a CBD brand because you cannot advertise. They won't let you advertise that. Right. Okay. For the second one, what I did is because the first one is slightly open-ended, because I have no idea, I don't really know. I know that this is going to be important, especially for a starting brand. I know that I have to generate awareness, but I don't know how to do it, right? So I'm kind of willing to test the channel. And you see how I'm anchoring the first initiative with the second. And that's why I went for YouTube, because I don't have much of a direction. I know that I'm supposed to generate awareness and I'm supposed to get people to become aware of my brand, but I don't really know what to go for. Should I go for TikTok? Should I go for YouTube? Should I go for Instagram? There's so many options. I don't know what to do. So the second most important thing for me would be to generate traffic through influencer marketing. So I'm using that second one to anchor me and say, okay, so if the first one says that I have to, if in the first one I have to generate awareness and impressions, and in the second one I have to generate traffic, then I will go for a platform that allows me to do both. And TikTok is notoriously hard. Well, now they've introduced and they're changing, you know, they're doing like the shopping stuff and they're changing it, but it is notoriously hard to track traffic from, right? Instagram is great. You do have the option of redirecting people from there, but that option only exists within stories. So the next logical platform would be YouTube, right? Because YouTube allows me to get the views, allows me to get the impressions, the eyeballs, but also allows me to track direct traffic into my website. And it's also very cumulative, right? Those are links that are going to stay on YouTube for a really long time. So I'm going to get like a steady income of traffic from YouTube that is going to allow me to work my way up to that 25% that I'm looking to generate, right, in a specific time frame. So I'm looking to generate 10% of the total traffic coming from influencer marketing by Q2. So that's a milestone. That's how I check myself to see, okay, am I on track with how much traffic I want to generate? And this is why I kind of put a project that goes for both initiatives. So it supports both of them. And that's kind of the sweet spot. It's not always going to happen, right? You're going to have different things to support each initiative. But when you hit that sweet spot, that's... So in this project, this specific project, produced 200 YouTube videos, hits the sweet spot because it gets me to my goal of generating 100 million impressions, or however many impressions I want from my brand, but it also helps my traffic generation, right? So that's why I put it across both initiatives. Now, keep in mind that the examples I put in this strategy are just examples. So what you need to keep in mind about this framework is, first, I want to choose in which category my goal falls, right? So which direction am I going? Awareness, conversion, branding, whatever. It's probably going to be in the first two, like awareness or conversion. Then choose something to do with that, right? So how do I want to achieve that? What is like the highest level bird view that I want to achieve that? So I want to increase brand awareness through video content. It's very simple, very straightforward. And then you detail that. So get specific with that and tell me exactly how are you going to do that specifically? And this is where you get specific. Generate 100 million impressions, right? And then you put your metrics down because you know what you're trying to achieve. You got specific on what you're trying to achieve, and now you know how you want to measure that, right? And then you put your flagpoles down and you kind of try to estimate, okay, can I get to this by the end of this? And this is the part where you think about your resources and you really assess if the goal of the initiative is actually reachable for you. And as you go down, again, it's all a reassessment. It's circular. It goes like this. So if I go down into the projects and the tasks and I break down and I'm thinking, oh man, I actually have to, hire someone to find that many influencers, and I don't have the budget to hire someone, then I go back and I'm like, okay, nope, it's not gonna happen. Then we're gonna change the goal of the initiative. Maybe I'll even change the initiative. Maybe actually getting 100 million impressions doesn't help my brand in any way. Maybe I need to go a different route, right? So take your time with this. Don't try to make it perfect, because there's no such thing as a perfect strategy, but just try to keep in mind, make it smart. What was it? Smart was I don't remember what the acronym stand for. Professional marketer. Wait, let me Google this. Specific measurement achievable relevant. I can't believe it. I had to Google that. So this is how I go about creating a strategy. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that is simple. Let me know if you understood everything. Leave it in the comment down below. I have also linked this spreadsheet in the video description so you can access it. I've also added more comments and more stuff to help you go through it. And yeah, this is literally how I do it and how I go through it. And I hope it's helpful to you as well. Now, if you like this video and you would like to see more, please subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to keep creating content about influencer marketing and answering all your questions about influencer marketing. If you're one of my 2 subscribers watching this video and you have questions, leave a comment down below and I will read it and I will try to create content. I have so much content planned that it's terrifying. It's truly terrifying. And because I'm absolutely sure that there are other people out there just like you that had this question and have no idea how to approach creating an influencer marketing strategy, make sure to like this video so that it gets recommended to them as well. Thank you so much, and see you next time.